Welcome back. In last part of lecture, we have implemented our routers and we have added our routes in admin.js. In this lecture, in this part of lecture, what we will do, we will implement all the routes of admin in actual. We will include the database. We will perform all the CRUD operation using these routes. So let's start. First of all, what we need to do is to start our MongoDB server. I have started this MongoDB server that is listening at 27017. Our server is also running using NodeMon, and we can access the same routes there, routers and routes there. So first of all, we will go to app.js, and what we will do is include our mongoose. For this you need to install mongoose. If you didn't install mongoose before, then what you will do, you will first install npm install mongoose, and then you will require the mongoose module here. So I required the mongoose module here. Next step is to connect with this mongoose module, our database with this mongoose module. For example, I am declaring a variable connection, and what I am doing, mongoose dot connect. Mongoose dot connect is a function which takes first parameter as URL to the database, and then the parameters are the options and callback. In this, callback or promises, we can do both ways. In this part of lecture, what I will do, I will use callbacks as well as our promises. uh, uh, in some routes I will use the promises, in some routes I will use the uh, our callbacks, so that you can understand the difference between these tools. Implementation is same, there will be no difference. So the first part is the connection string. Here MongoDB server, which we want to connect. Then what we need, the server name. In this case it is residing on the local host, so that is our server name. Then what we need, we need the port at which it is listening, slash the name of the database. I'm creating a database with the name LMS. So this is what first parameter is, and second parameters. Normally we don't need to provide second parameters, but if we want to provide, then we can provide options. Use new URL parser. Normally it will provide you some warnings if you don't include these. Then what you other thing that you need is use and unified topology. These are the two options that needs to be true in case if you want to um, connect it. So that's how I have connected the database, and the variable or constant that is returned to me is the connection. Now what I will do, connection dot then. This is the way out of promises. I'm saying that connection will result whatever it will be. Then what I want to do is the return. This is the DB, and I will, and this way DB, and this way, sorry, this, in this way what I'm doing is doing arrow function. Arrow function, in it we have the parameters and then the arrow function, arrow, and then we have the declaration of our function. So in it what I want to write is console.log, and it is actually connected here. If all went right, so it will be connected. else in this case what I will do, sorry, in this, then I will do error. If there is an error, and if error, then what we will do, we will pass this error to console dot log and error. So this way what I did, I included Mongoose.connect, which connected to MongoDB server at localhost colon 27017, and then when it connected, it has provided me if these options are not spotted, you can just remove it. In this case, now what it did, it connected my database with my server. So database has been connected on my app.js. In our router, we don't need to connect to the database directly. We only need to connect to our database at server level. Next step, I will go to each router and implement the routes there. So I will go to admin.js. Here we have multiple routes. We will add few routes into it according to our need. Just starting from add teacher to post, so that the first thing what we need is to add the teacher into our database. But to add the teacher into our database, what we need to do, we need to declare the structure of our database. For that, I need to include models into our system. To include the models, I will go at the root directory. I will add a models folder into it, and I can create it from here. In this model, I will create the model of admin.js. I will create the model of teacher.js, student.js, head.js, and another model that is required is the class.js. Class.js will contain the information about the class. The first model which I need to start is we will start from admin model. What I need to do is to include mongoose here, require mongoose, I have included the mongoose. The next thing which I need to include is the schema, and it is mongoose.schema. So we are declaring a schema variable which will be of type mongoose.schema. Then what we will do, admin schema. We are now declaring our admin schema. This will be of type new schema. It is a function. We can provide our schema into it. So sorry, this will be a function. We will define the schema. For example, admin has only one property, that is name. So we will include that property, name, and For its type, I can declare the type as string. Name is of type string with another parameter that is required true. So I have included only one property into it, that is name, and that is required, and that will be of type string, and that is required. So this is I have defined my schema, admin schema. Now I will use this schema to create the model. Then I will do module.exports and mongoose dot model. I'm creating the model. First parameter is the name of the model. I'm creating the model with the name of admin. Then the second parameter is the schema name, schema, admin schema. And what I need to do, if I want to give a third parameter, that will be the collection name. If I have predefined a collection name in my application, then I can provide the name. Else, in this case, it will create an application, a collection with the name of admins into our database. So admin schema has been created. For head schema, head model, what we will do, we will copy paste it and replace head and then head and head. So our head schema, our head model is also ready. Which will create a collection with the name of heads in our database, which has only one property, that is name. The next model is our student model. For this, if I copy paste this thing, because it is time consuming to write it again and again, student schema, and student schema has a model name with the student and student schema. It has properties like name, and it has another property that is basically roll number. Roll number will be of type string, and it will be also required to insert into document. So I have declared two properties here, name and roll number. Both are required and both need to be written before entering any information into our database. The next thing is our teacher schema. I am copy pasting again the student schema, and here I will change teacher name and designation. Teacher schema, and the collection name will be teachers. The model name will be teacher. So I have created 4 of my models. I need one more model, and that is of class. I'm again copy pasting the basic information, but in it I will change multiple things. Just see what we are going to change. First thing is class. Class schema has the model name as class and class schema. In it, first thing is as it is the name part, but the second thing is teacher, the teacher assigned to a class, but it will be of type mongoose dot types dot object id. what I am doing, I am doing a reference of teacher schema, teacher model into this. This line says that the teacher will contain the object ID underscore ID will be of type underscore ID, and the reference of this underscore ID will come from teacher model, which we have created this here. We can see the teacher model, and this will be our part. Sorry, that will be part of our schema. We will add another level of difficulty so that you can understand what we need to do if there is a complex application. We have students into our class, and it is of type, what I did, it is of type array. I have declared it as an array, and it contains SID, which will be of type mongoose dot types dot object id. So what I did, I said that there will be an array of students, and every object of that array will be of type SID, which will contain SID of type object ID, and the reference will be from our student schema. So this is clear and clear. Okay, so we have defined our uh, class schema. It has three properties: name, which is of type string; teacher, which will be of type object ID, and it will be referred from teacher; and a student, that will be type array of objects, and every object contain SID will be of type object ID, and it will be reference from students. So we have defined our schema, our class schema. So now we will go to admin, not the admin model. We will go, sorry, let me close it. We will go to routes and admin routes. We have defined few routes here. The first of all, what I will do, I will implement post model so that we can insert information into our database. A post model of add teacher. So we are going to add information into our database of a specific teacher. Then we will add the information of student, and then we can add the information of class, and we can update and search information afterwards. So the first of all, we will create router add teachers. In this, we received a request against add teacher, and we will provide the response. Here what I need to do is to include, first of all I will include uh, all the models that needs to be accessed. For this, var teacher require, as we are in the routes model, we have to go back, dot models. We are in admin routes, so what we need to do is dot slash model slash uh, model slash student dot, sorry, teacher dot teacher. So I missed a reference. So I have included a teacher model here. Same, I will include a student model with the name student, then I will add admin model with the name admin, then I will add class model. So I'm not including head model because it is not required to work on it, means because head is related to another uh, field, so head is not required in this case. So we have did it till now. So we are going to add uh, the post router into TeacherSchema. For this, what we will do is to add the teacher dot. Now we have what we have done, we have included this teacher as a model into our system. So the teacher dot, then we will create, either we can directly create or we can create a new model and save that model. In both way we can do the same. Request dot body, whatever we will receive from the server client end, we will process it. And here what we are going to do is basically using the promise, then teacher dot create request dot body dot then, and here we will receive the teacher. If we will receive the teacher, then what we will do is console dot log teacher edit, and we can print out the object which has been returned to us. And after that console.log, then what we will do, response dot set status code. We can define the status code as 200. We can response dot set header, and here we can say content type, and that is actually application. We have two things here. First is the name of the property, and second the value of the property. We are setting content type, and it will be as per our decision, it will be application slash JSONs. We are sending a JSON variable to our client. So response dot JSON, we are now actually sending our JSON variable, that will be a teacher which has been inserted into our database. And if the alternative is error, if there is an error, what we will do, error, we will put error in next, and then dot catch. This will be against dot create the catch. Here again what we will do, error, if error, then we will again next, and we will pass error. So this way we have implemented our router post method, in which we have whatever we will get from the client, we will execute it and store into DB. If there is an error, we will catch that error and send to the next as an error, and if there is no error, we will insert that into our DB and send the response to the client. So let's start our server again.